In every legend, there's a sliver of truth. In every tragedy, a forgotten warning. They Were Both Found Dead is your guide through the eerie and the unexplained, where history collides with horror, and not everyone makes it out alive.
Welcome to They Were Both Found Dead. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Ramsey, and today we're talking about dark history.
We are.
It's going to get really dark today, and I feel like I went darker than you, and oops.
You beat me this time?
I don't think it's beating. I don't think anyone won here.
True. Oh, you always go harder than I do in these videos.
Tragedy is usually important to talk about.
Truth.
I'm like
Truth
the Debbie
people.
Downer SNL skit.
You?
I want to see the Country Bear Jamboree. I want to go to every country in Epcot and greet them in their own native language. Hola, konnichiwa, hi.
Did you guys hear about that train explosion in North Korea? Media is so sensitive there, so secretive, that we may never know how many people perished.
I hate SNL.
I like 1 out of 60.
1 out of 60?
There's a good one.
How many episodes does SNL have?
A lot. It's been off for a long time. How's life?
It's been pretty fine. I haven't done anything eccentric, new, important, or different.
Thoroughly uneventful.
Yeah. I have a birthday coming up.
How old are you turning? 24?
Do I want to reveal that to the people? Yeah, 24. I'm going to be 24 on July 18th, which is next week.
I feel like I had an answer to prove to you, because I was waiting for you to be like, you don't know. I'm like, wait, I do know, by the way.
I should have guessed you. I should have asked you what's my birthday.
I was waiting for you to.
Damn. But you already know. I told you
I'm
10 times today.
Well, yeah, but also you've quizzed me on that many a time. And then usually my response is to quiz you aggressively back, and then and everything's good.
Today is your golden birthday. No, not today. This year.
It's your golden birthday?
Well, no. It's your golden birthday for me.
What?
So since you're 24, right? September 24th?
Yeah.
I'm going to be 24. You see
I don't
what I'm
think
talking
that's
about?
how it works.
Okay, whatever. I wasn't able to celebrate my 18th, golden birthday, because I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I did. My sister got everyone golden girl pins, and it was awesome. Yeah.
That sucks.
A
super birthday? That'd be so fun.
I was in Florida. I got a concussion that day.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, I went down the water slide and got a concussion.
And she didn't want to say it because she was having so much fun.
Well, you're not allowed to drink if you're concussed, and I wasn't willing to play by those rules.
And that's why she is how she is, guys.
So we just had 4th of July weekend,
and
I went to see my family, went to my sisters with my dad and my brother-in-law and my fiance, Cody.
Oh.
And we went to this bar called the Angry Goldfish. I really, really like this bar. It's a cool bar. It's the outside looks divey. It's on a little corner in Des Moines.
Yeah.
And it's a cool bar. And on the inside, it's warm lighting. It's nice decor, dark woods, pink booths, but warm.
Pink boobs.
Booths.
Okay.
Not pink boobs. Those are covered. Bless you. Little kitty sneeze. We're kind of on the very side, and the only tables behind us are a big table, a railing, and then a couple of little tables on the other side of the railing, and then behind that was the offices and stuff.
Okay.
And behind us is just these two dudes in the corner, and I'm not really paying attention to them because I got a whiskey flight. I was trying whiskeys. And the thing about this bar, too, is it's called the Angry Goldfish because you get a free, instead of free bread or anything, and it is a bar, it's not a restaurant. But they do have food, too. That was great. All besides the point, you get a free bowl of goldfish, and they're called Angry Goldfish because they're seasoned, super spicy.
Like actual goldfish?
Like the goldfish crackers?
Oh!
No,
okay,
not
yeah.
Petco.
I was about to say, how eccentric, exotic.
Oh, no, you just slurp them up. No, it's goldfish crackers.
No, yeah. I feel like bars should give out snacks like that.
It was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
It makes people drink more.
And then it got Tom eating, so Tom was like, you know what? I want some chili cheese fries. And he got them, and it was awesome. It looked like a stew at one point. He had a spoon. Yeah. And mind you, I'm the only person with my back totally to the two dudes behind us.
Yeah.
And then next to me is Cody and my sister Taylor. And then across from me are my dad and my brother-in-law Tom. So literally, they're like this, and I'm the only one with my back completely to them. So I'm the last one to like be clued
Is it
in.
like a circle?
Yeah, we're at a circle table.
Okay.
And we're right next to games, lotto games.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just, we were getting shots because this place is known for like really good shots and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're drinking, and Tom's eating his chili cheese fries. All of a sudden, like I can see the look on my dad and Tom's face, especially my dad. I was like, oh, something's wrong. They're looking at something concerned. I was like, what's going on, guys? Basically, they explained, and mind you, this was our this was our third location. We had been drinking for a while at this point.
Yeah.
We had a designated driver, but I was not that driver. I just want to emphasize that I was like really in a different headspace, and all of a sudden things got really real.
What happened?
And basically I leaned forward, and I started kind of hearing men yelling behind me. And I leaned forward, and my dad explains that the guy was behind us was the owner in like a button up like Hawaiian shirt, but he was like a big guy.
How much were they overhearing?
Well, they had been watching it for a while.
Okay.
Because when you could see it, it was a lot more troubling.
Okay.
And then my dad's a very aware person. Like, he doesn't like to sit with his back to a room.
Very
He sits with his
nosy
back to the
person.
wall. Oh, nosy as fuck. I can't tell you how many times I'm
Yeah.
with my family and I try to talk, and they're all like, shh, we're listening to that table over there. And I'm like, I thought we
I feel
were
like it's
having family dinner.
the Hispanic in them, for sure.
Very much,
My
yes.
family's like that. 100%.
What's it called? Chismosa?
Yeah!
I call my
Good
dad all the time. All this to say, basically, the guy behind us was the owner, and the guy in the black, like, he was wearing like a decorative Hawaiian shirt.
Okay.
And the other guy in black was an employee, and the employee had stolen from him.
Oh.
And so the owner wasn't letting him leave, and I was like, you have to wait for the cops. And the guy kept trying to run out, and we think that he had like tried to run out of the office, and then the guy had like cornered him in this little area because it has that railing, so they're kind of stuck back there.
Oh my god.
And like every so often, the other guy would start screaming, and he did scream. He screamed, "I'm Mexican," which he's Mexican the way that I'm Mexican. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. And then he was screaming like, "I'm mentally ill," but like most of the time he was just saying like, "Fuck you, you weirdo," and "This is fucking weird, dude. Just stop, just stop."
Oh my god.
And like at one point, like he had him like on the wall, like he had to hold him back.
Oh
At another
my
point,
God.
He had him on the ground, and it just kept escalating and escalating until finally the cops came. And the cops spoke to him, and then these people came in, like, right before that happened, like, right before the cops came, and they were waiting to use those big tables that are back there.
Yeah.
And one of them was this drunk bitch. Excuse me, but she was. And as the guy was, like, getting taken out, and, like, the cops were being really nice to him. And he thought, I noticed he never took his hand off his taser. He was ready.
Yeah.
The woman came up to the guy and like gave him $20 and was like, "It's okay." And then loudly to her group, she was like, "He's like 21, 22, and he was just drunk, and it happens to all of us. We all get arrested." But like you can tell she's fucking drunk.
Yeah.
So first of all, she's loud and wrong. That's not what happened. You weren't here. He actually physically assaulted people. So no.
A lot of people are loud and wrong.
Loud and wrong, I know.
Annoying.
You don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know anything, you think you know everything.
Oh. I didn't know we were dropping bars, Ramsey. Oh my god.
I literally, like, I was so uncomfortable when the guy thing was happening, and then this lady made me so mad. And then she was so fucking, like, okay, maybe it's normal for people in your life to get arrested for being publicly intoxicated, which, again, isn't what was happening. But that's not normal for most people. Plenty of us go our whole lives without getting arrested for that. Some of us get close, but... Not you sipping. But yeah, that's my story of the angry goldfish.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was happening pretty much the entire time we were there.
No, if I was drunk, that would be like the best entertainment.
We kept saying dinner and a show. And then like the booth behind us, they kept like wondering what was happening. And I think if I had been like with you and Cesar,
Yeah.
I would have said something to that fucking lady. Because she really pissed me off.
Oh, really?
I would have. And I would have explained to the booth because I could hear them wondering what was happening and I wanted to fill them in. But I was with my family, so I was like, I don't want to...
Why does that make a difference?
I don't know. I'm just a different person.
Again, around us and your family? Oh, okay.
Like family mode versus friend mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot closer than I think for most people. Like I said, I was pretty fucking drunk at this point.
Yeah.
But again, when I say pretty fucking drunk, I never black out. I'm not sick. I think my pretty fucking drunk is most people's buzzed that like will get blacked out.
I
So
always
then
get blacked out.
Yeah, even when I have gotten like really too much drunk, I've never blacked out. You black out after like a few drinks.
Yeah, it's... I don't know why it happened so easy for me. It's
Your
so
memory doesn't want to
stupid.
experience.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
I was waiting to tell you that for this.
That was fun. I wish I was there.
It was like your bank story.
I wish I was there.
That would have been fun. Dinner and a show.
Yeah. So,
Like we've done in the last few times, it's going to be me, him, me. And it took us a minute to figure that out, but we got there.
You said it right. Sorry, I had to process it.
See, we still don't have it. Oh.
Flashback.
How many do you have? 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be me, you, me, you, me.
Me, you, me.
Ramsey, Adrian, Ramsey, Adrian, Ramsey.
You, me, you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
End of flashback.
I might put in that clip if it's not too embarrassing.
No, yeah. Put as much. If I'm doing it on
watch
camera
it first and
yeah.
then decide.
No, if I'm doing it on camera, then I'm willing for you to put whatever.
Do you remember that YouTuber who forgot to cut out the clip of her abusing her dog?
No.
Yeah.
That happened?
Yeah, and then she got canceled, obviously.
We love you.
A lot of people do that. Like, they don't clip out what they don't want in the video.
It happened to the Ace family.
Hey, Ace family! Welcome back to our channel, guys.
What's going on, everybody? Ooh, look at my hair.
No.
Good thing I don't have to. No, I'm gonna say it. Good thing I have to be on camera today.
Okay.
God.
Okay.
My hair looks fucked up. I would not film like this. So just go.
Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hey, Ace family! Welcome back to our channel, guys.
What's going on, everybody? Ooh, look at my.
Have you seen that one mom that the kid died? Like, no, not the kid died.
Their dog died?
Yes, and she was like, "Oh, I know you're sad, but pose for the thumbnail right
Look
now."
sadder.
Like, look.
I know she's gonna make it through. She's an amazing, beautiful little girl, and I can't wait for her to bring her home and be part of our family. So if you could pray for us, we appreciate it. I love you guys. Bye. Come here. Come closer for the video. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. Put your head right here. Come closer. Closer. Down. Put your head down here. Act like you're crying. Really quick.
I am crying.
Go like this.
No, Mom, I'm actually seriously crying.
No, I know, but go like this for the video. Go like this. Put one hand up. Go like this. No, go like this. Put your hand like this. But let them see your mouth. Let them see your mouth.
No, Mom, I'm actually crying.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm actually crying.
I know. Look at me. Look at me. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's over. It's over. It's over.
That's a good
Fucked up.
segue into heartbreaking, because I think the rest of this episode will be heartbreaking. Alright, so first I want to do a quick trigger warning for race-based violence. There will be graphic discussion, including things like assault and human torture.
Okay.
And I also want to say something real quick. First of all, do you know that meme where it's like your English teacher reading a book with the N-word in it, being like, unfortunately, I'm gonna say this. And then they say it like with so much fucking gumption.
Yeah, like it's natural to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel the exact opposite way. No, I'm not gonna say the N-word because obviously no. There is another word though that is prolific as fuck in this conversation. I just want to share how I feel about it. That word is Negro. That word used to be very considered, what's the word? Unbiased, not
Casual.
positive, not negative. Yeah, there's a specific word I'm looking for, but I can't find it.
Like the R word.
Yeah, it was like the word that was used.
Mm-hmm.
And now that word obviously has different connotations depending on how it's used.
Yeah.
Especially like you're from Mexico,
Mhm.
that word is a lot less offensive, I believe.
No, that's like literally the color.
Yeah.
That which. Yeah, exactly.
It's just a color. So it's like a lot more chill. But okay, and like every time I've come across this word and had to say it before, it was in the context of like, for example, the National Negro League, which I will mention later, which is like a baseball league. So it's called the National Negro League. Like that's not offensive. But the tone in which it is used in some of the things I'm going to be reading, it feels like a slur, and I feel like I'm saying a slur. And I don't know.
Should you use
I just
it?
want to share how I feel. I don't know. We'll see when we get there how we feel.
Okay.
But I just want to share how I was feeling doing this research. Because this research made me feel gross.
Do you want to reveal what this mysterious topic is?
So my first topic today is the Tulsa Race Massacre.
Oh.
Have you heard of that before?
I it's familiar in my brain, but
A lot of people have heard, like, the gist and, like, Black
Yeah.
Wall Street, the buzzwords.
Mhm.
But there's so much behind this. And it's one of those situations where the backstory is so important. So I'm going to be setting, you got to set the scene to really understand what happened and why it happened and why it's important. There's a cat, yeah. He was making biscuits on it.
Fuck that cat.
Do you want another blanket?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So let me set the scene. It's 1921, the Roaring Twenties. A sense of modern was settling into the world. Between moving pictures, automobiles, and the new and much more scandalous fashion trends, such as the famous flapper suits, and who can forget the zoot suits? Have you seen a zoot suit before?
No. A zoot suit?
A zoot suit, and I saw a bunch of kids wearing zoot suits to prom this year, and I really
What
liked
the
that.
fuck? It's still common?
No, that's why I liked it, because it was being brought back. It's a huge part of Black culture and Chicano culture.
Oh, like it being super high up, the
Yeah.
pants?
And the puffy pants, and the jackets, and the hats,
That
and
looks
the
like,
chains.
whoa, that looks clean.
So at this time, they're wearing zoot suits, flapper dresses, and again, these are like things that are commonly shown wearing by like white people in movies,
Mhm.
but these fashion trends were set by Black people.
Mm.
So chaperones were becoming a thing of the past, women were enjoying a new age of freedom, and men were trying to return to normal after the trench warfare of World War I. Prohibition had just begun the year before. This time is also referred to as the Age of Jazz, and the Negro National League had just been created, the country's first association of African American baseball teams, as Black Americans were not yet allowed to play in the MLB. The Civil War had ended 56 years earlier, and while Oklahoma wasn't in state until 1907, the area in which it resides was a part of the Confederacy, and the same young men who had fought for slavery in the war were the old men hobbling around, and it would be over 50 years until the final slaves on the plantations were actually freed, with multiple plantations keeping Black Americans enslaved until the 1970s, such as the Kelowna plantation.
1970s?
Yeah, several plantations were still keeping slaves that had no idea they had been freed. Because they just keep it in isolation. So again, remember when people are like, it was so long ago, and not only, even if you ignored all that stuff, like the later things, it still wasn't that long ago.
No, definitely not. I don't know why people say that.
And that's one of the reasons I did want to talk about this, is because of how much impact it has had, even on recent days, and why it still impacts.
If anything, it's like too recent.
It's true. Donald Trump was an adult when segregation ended. So those pictures of like angry white people throwing stuff at them, those young white people, that's his age range. That's who he grew up with.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Before we get into what happened in Tulsa over that shameful Memorial Day weekend, and in order to understand exactly what happened and why, there are a few other events we have to go over first. So 2 years before the Tulsa Massacre, 1919, in the United States, this was referred to as the Red Summer. It consisted of white mobs committing massacres and race riots in more than 36 cities across the country, the largest of which was in Chicago, which lasted from July 27th to August 12th, and resulted in 38 fatalities, 527 injured, and over 1,000 Black families left homeless.
Oh my god. How?
And that's smaller than the one we're talking about today.
Oh, okay.
One of the massacres over the Red Summer actually occurred in Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah.
No.
In the old market. And it lasted 2 days. Oh, but yeah, Omaha, Nebraska is where we live, by the way. It's a big
It's
town.
where I was born.
Yeah, I was not born here. I moved here. I'm a transplant.
Transplant? Where were you born?
Sioux City,
Where is that? Nobody knows that.
Iowa.
Oh, okay.
It's actually the second largest city in Iowa, so. I was that little. Isn't that shocking? It lasted 2 days, September 28th to the 29th. In 1920, the census revealed that Omaha had the second highest population of Black residents of any city at the time, with LA at number one.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked. I did not think that.
Wait, say that one more time?
Omaha had the second highest population of Black residents in the entire world. Not in the entire world, in the United States other than LA.
At that point?
At that point.
Oh, okay.
In the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
Racial tensions in the city were high because economic tensions were. A pattern really jumped out to me doing my research for this episode, and this is the first example of it. A pattern old as time, and a pattern still happening as we speak. Economic tensions and racial tensions tend to go hand in hand, as it's much easier to get the lower class to fight one another. Those in the lower class tend to attack those in poverty, and those in poverty to fight back, as opposed to the true enemy, the upper class hoarding the wealth and paying unlivable wages.
Well, we know all about that right now.
Yep, it's very, like, all of this is like, well, okay, this happened before.
It just repeats and repeats and repeats.
Over and over. Basically, yeah. Sensationalized media reports told a story of the alleged rape of a 19-year-old white woman by a Black man on September 25th, a common boogeyman at the time. Fear-mongering was particularly rampant in Omaha at this time, as a new mayor had just taken office and one of his rivals owned the paper. Black criminality, as they called it, was being printed about heavily and being used to attack the new mayor. On the 26th, police arrested 41-year-old Will Brown for the crime. Keep in mind, there is no way to 100% confirm that Brown did not commit the crime. It's pretty much universally agreed upon that he most likely was completely innocent. By 5 p.m., a mob of around 10,000 white Omaha residents gathered us on the south side of the Douglas County Courthouse. I'm not going to go into detail for this horrible event in the way I'm going to for Tulsa, because we just don't got time for all that. It is something to note that unlike in Tulsa, the Omaha Police Department actually fought like hell to protect the man in their custody. As they should. Obviously, like, the bar's in the ground, but they really, like, actually tried. And it's something to note that in a lot of these situations, the police were literally just handing the men in custody over. Like, okay, here you go.
Oh, wow.
So at least we didn't do that. And again, that's the bare minimum. But it just shows how horrifying it is that that was uncommon.
Yeah. I know there was a lot of bad things back in the day just about this.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, a man just got lynched in New York a couple weeks ago.
I know. And it's too much. It's so crazy. I hate this topic.
Sorry.
No, yeah, you're fine.
Everything I chose today, I wanted to talk about because I feel like it should be talked about.
Yeah, I understand. I agree with that.
But it is hard. It's hard to talk about. The police were assaulted and eventually overtaken, and the courthouse was overthrown by the mob, who were also attacking any black person who happened to walk near the area. The mob lit the courthouse on fire and got a hold of the mayor, Edward Parsons Smith, who had shouted to the crowd, "If you must hang someone, hang me," which, like, kind of slay for a politician.
And they hanged him?
They hung the mayor on a streetlight near the courthouse.
Okay, wow.
Now, the main difference between hanging and lynching is context and intent. Hanging is a method of execution, while lynching is an emotion-fueled attack done by mobs or hate groups, usually targeting African Americans. One side effect of these differences is the majority of hangings, when done correctly, stab the neck of the individual being executed, killing them instantly. Lynchings are rarely done in a manner where the neck snaps, so the individual has to choke to death, their neck taking the weight of their entire body.
You know, I used to live in Mexico, right? There was this guy, he was Russian, and he used to, be very, he was really, prejudiced of Hispanic people.
Why did he move to Mexico?
I don't know, but he was
Probably
there.
like going to Russia and being like, I fucking hate Russians. It doesn't make any sense.
I know, he would make videos and, like, harass, like, people. So he got lynched, but he didn't die. But, like, a crowd of, like, an angry mob came to his house, beat him up pretty bad. And he, like, had to go to his, what's it called?
Home, hospital?
No,
home
on top of your home.
Embassy? A roof, attic?
Roof, yeah. He had to hide in his roof for them to leave. It was
Did
crazy.
Did he stay living there after that?
I don't know. I didn't know anything after that. I didn't even know if he died. I don't think he did, but there's videos of it, and it's crazy.
That's dark as fuck.
I know. But it was a long time ago. Like 10 years ago.
That's not that long.
It was like when I was living there.
That's scary.
Yeah, I know.
Also, why the fuck would you move to Mexico if you hate Mexicans?
I know. It just shows you how, like, that stuff is still current and still ongoing, just like how you're talking about, just like how it happened recently.
And that is a great example of a lynching, like the group, the mob.
Yeah.
A lot different than an execution. And there's also that difference in you don't die right away because your neck's not snapped.
Oof.
So for this reason, when some city officials were able to drive through the crowd and pull their car under the mayor, he was still alive, and they were able to cut him down and take him away from the massive mob.
Oh my God.
Smith was in the hospital for weeks, touch and go for the first few days, but he did end up living. Will Brown was not nearly as fortunate. I'm gonna trigger warning one more time. If you aren't actually like really interested in darker things, this would be the time to dip.
I'm going to dip, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Again, this is the Ramsey Show. That happens every episode. You either say, I don't know how much longer I can do this, or you say, I'm going to leave and this is going to be you.
I'm sorry, you just go really hard. But it needs to be talked about. So listen up.
And I can always pull back. Let me know. So once the mob had a hold of Will Brown, they hung him, shot him repeatedly as he hung, and then cut him down. They then tied Will Brown to the back of a vehicle and drug him over 4 blocks. Oil from the streetlights was then poured on him, and he was lit on fire. The burnt remains of this man named Will Brown, were then drugged through downtown Omaha for hours. Altogether, the horrific event lasted from 2 p.m. to 3 a.m., and it took 1,600 National Guardsmen to regain control of the city. Once again taking action, unlike the police in the Tulsa Nightmare, many soldiers were sent to South O to prevent mobs from forming in the majority white area, and to North O to protect the black families there. Hundreds were injured, many trampled, and 2 white riders died while fighting the police.
What were they so mad about?
So he had done something to a white woman. That, like I mentioned, that was a very common boogeyman at the time, where if the black man versus the angelic, poor little white woman. I think the vast majority of the time you need to listen to rape survivors, and like that's the whole thing, and you need to listen to the victims. But it was very heavily weaponized against black men for a period of time, and that's a whole different nuance.
And it was probably not even him.
It most likely wasn't him. There's nothing that shows that it was him.
Wow.
Other than the fact they decided it was. Don't worry, there'll be more of that.
Okay, thanks.
Again, that was just one of over 36 similar events across the country in the summer of 1919. A lot of these follow the recipe of a black man is accused of a crime against a white woman or a white person. Then they are angry mob outside of white people. They take the black person, they lynch them.
Oh.
Now back to Tulsa. As I mentioned before, the end of the Civil War wasn't too long earlier, and the majority of the black citizens were either former slaves or the first people born free in their families. In August of 1916, Tulsa passed an ordinance that mandated residential segregation. This ordinance made it illegal for members of either race to reside on any block where 3/4 or more of the residents were members of another race. So if a block had 10 houses, 1 empty, 2 black families, and then 7 white families, once this ordinance was passed, it would be illegal for a black family or even a black individual to move into the empty house, because there's already majority white families.
Okay.
This was declared unconstitutional in 1917, a year after it being passed, but Tulsa did not care. The city enforced this law for 3 more decades.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, another example of, yes, this was illegal at that point, but it wasn't enforced. Local laws also barred black citizens from serving in juries or for running for public office. Tulsa enforced these laws until the Federal Voting Rights Act of 1965. Men were returning from the First World War that had ended in November of 1918, and jobs in the city were becoming sparse. The KKK was resurging in popularity. By the end of 1921, 3,200 of Tulsa's 62,000 white residents were registered card-carrying Klan members.
Card-carrying?
Card-carrying.
What does...
Like
they have cards?
Were officially registered as official members and given Klan cards, which I'll insert pictures of. So if you're ever
So
listening, the
disappointing.
visual...
No, yeah.
You might not want visuals, though. Yeah, that was only, quote-unquote, 3,200 of 62,000. What about the families of those people? What about the people that aren't Klans members, but there's still so much racism in between not racist and a Klansman?
Probably majority.
What about the people that were just too lazy to register but believed everything?
Yeah.
A huge amount of the city.
You can think about that, like, in recent times, too.
The Klan and Nazi parties have been consistently since 2016 on their resurgence upward.
Oh, it just goes lower and lower.
Yeah, the world's horrible, but that's why we have the end, the palate cleansers, because we need something good.
Oh, I thought you meant the end, like the apocalypse or something.
So the apocalypse might take us out, Fingers crossed.
Oh, please.
So even for Oklahoma, Tulsa was known for being a particularly racist area, and their laws certainly reflected that. Black folks were rarely welcomed at white businesses. As a result of this extreme racism, the 10,000 black residents spent their money at black businesses. To give an idea of the size of this neighborhood, District 12 in the Hunger Games had 8,000 residents. The majority of black residents of Tulsa had congregated to the Greenwood neighborhood, and it was thriving. It was often referred to as Black Wall Street at the time.
Oh.
Which I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's usually like the buzzword most people know.
Yeah, I do.
And it was an amazing and vibrant community, building money and opportunity within itself, creating generational wealth for black families, something that had never happened before in the United States.
Oh, wow.
However, due to the accumulation of wealth in the area, people moving into the up-and-coming neighborhood, as well as growing families, the edges of Greenwood were growing and slowly but surely pushing into the white neighborhoods, enraging the residents of those neighborhoods. Why do you care? I will never understand caring if your neighbor is black. I mean, I don't... I guess there's a lot of fear and hatred built up there to care.
Yeah, it's like their whole personality is to be on top of somebody else.
Yeah.
Not like
to
anything.
punch down. Need a boogeyman to blame all the problems on.
Yeah, or else your life is not interesting.
I'm telling you, it's the 1%'s fault. Just put all that hatred there. Again, while the 1920s were a time of wealthy economy before the Wall Street crash on Black Tuesday that started the Great Depression in 1929, it was only 1921 at this point, and plenty of men who had returned from the war were having trouble finding jobs. While this applied to both white and black men, which, again, the fact that black men were sent to war and didn't even have the right to hold office, though live where they want to live. But anyways, while this applied to both white and black men in Tulsa at the time, the black community was noticeably thriving compared to what the white residents expected of black people. Oh my god, there's a gnat in here.
You know, I think that was like a used to thing, because now they just get deported straight out. But before, if you were going to be deported, like as a immigrant here, they would give you the choice to either be deported or enter the army, and a lot of people would enter the army.
That's dark.
Yeah, it's recent, because my mom knows somebody that works like at DNV or something that did that, but they had to like be in the army for like a minimum of like 10 years or something like that, and then they would get like
tours are usually 4 years. They can be 2 years, they're usually 4 years.
Yeah, but I guess longer for this
crazy.
reason. Yeah, I don't know, but they had to serve for a long time, and
What
after
would you
that they would
choose?
get I don't know, probably be deported, honestly, because
Smarter.
army. I'm a legal resident here,
I was
guys.
gonna say, yeah, he was
I'm a
literally born
citizen.
here. He was, like we said, he was born in Omaha.
Okay.
But if you weren't, I
Yeah.
think I would also, unless
You
I
see,
was like
it's kinda
really
hard.
running from someone specific,
Yeah, if
I'd
like
probably just go deported.
yeah, because where I come from Mexico, like I'd be okay with going back there, but there's people that come from very hostile environments that
Or like grew up in a gang area, now are wanted.
yes, so army is definitely like the better choice for sure.
Or they have like a medical condition that they need to stay here.
Yeah,
or their kid
or
was
their
born
kid
here
is-
and they want to stay here.
Or the kid has cancer and they need to stay here to provide for them.
Which are all things that have happened.
Recently,
Yep. Specific cases.
anyways.
Yeah. Okay. The black community was noticeably thriving compared to what the white residents expected of black people. They expected servants and handymen barely making it by. Many of the Tulsa residents would never have dreamt of hearing about something called Black Wall Street. In August of 1920, 1 year prior to the Tulsa Massacre, a 19-year-old white man named Roy Belton and a female companion were arrested for the carjacking and shooting of a white taxi driver named Homer Nita. Hospitalized from the gunshot wound, Nita identified Belton as the man who shot him. Again, Belton's white. So this just shows that,
Yeah.
like, it usually as far as black people, but this particular case it was not. In custody, Belton also confessed, however, he claimed it was an accident. A local paper called the Tulsa Tribune, remember that name,
Okay.
published Belton's picture, claiming that Belton was planning to escape on a plea of insanity. And it was like a super fear-mongering article. This got the town riled up, as did much of the Tulsa Tribune's fear-mongering, and when Nita died in the hospital a few days later, the town was enraged.
Yeah.
A crowd gathered outside the Tulsa County Courthouse, where the county jail was on the top floor. Several armed men entered the courthouse, confronting Sheriff James Woolley, and they demanded that Belton be released to them.
Wait, sorry, quick question.
Yeah.
Is Nita,
He is dead. He was the one that
is
was
he
shot.
black or is he?
He was white as well.
He's white as well.
So it was a white taxi driver being shot and mugged by a white man.
And the town was an uproar because the guy was going to get off on insanity.
Yes.
Okay.
When he killed one of their own.
Oh,
Even though he was also white.
I see.
Which, again, happened way less often, but, sometimes when Tulsa was, very, fucked up and aggressive at this point.
Okay.
And for lack of a better word. And these people were, kind of, I don't want to say poetic.
Poetic.
Poetic's not the right word. But they demanded that Belton be released to them, and so the sheriff did. He just handed Belton right over. And then the man took Belton in Nita's taxi, the same one Belton had confessed to shooting Nita in and stealing. So they had recovered it, obviously, but then they took him, and they took him to his death in the taxi that he had killed a man in, which is what they were killing him for.
Very theatrical.
Very theatrical, dramatic.
I see. Very dramatic. Yes, I see
Sometimes drama's bad.
that. I can't even think of how could you even think about that?
I know
what's the
they were
most
like,
fucked
we're
up way to
eating
do
right
that?
now. Like they patted
how?
themselves on the back.
For sure, they definitely did. They're like, fantastic idea. I love it.
High five over it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not the fist bumps. So they drove the taxi 9 miles outside of Tulsa and they lynched him.
Oh.
The Tulsa police literally directed traffic away from the lynching while it was happening, like it was a concert or a fair or a parade.
Oh my
It
god.
was an active lynching. Oklahoma Governor James Robertson condemned the event and even attempted to remove Sheriff Woolley from office. However, remember, black people were not allowed to serve on juries, so an all-white jury found no one at fault for what happened, and there is not a single consequence to literally anyone. Both the Tulsa Tribune and the Tulsa World capitalized massively on the sensationalism of the attack and were very pro-mob. However, A.J. Smitherman, editor of the black-owned newspaper The Tulsa Star, wrote about how if a mob could lynch a white man who had been in police custody, no black man was safe, and he warned that black residents should take matters into their own hands if a black man was arrested. So mind you, again, leading up to this, there was a red summer, a whole summer of across dozens of cities of white mobs taking black people that were most likely innocent and lynching them and then destroying black communities. Then this happens in their city of a white man being lynched, and the cop handed him over. So the black community is like, if they're doing this to fucking white people, they're going to do anything to us. Like, literally, no one's safe.
I get what you mean.
So that's why I feel like it's so important to set the tone. Like, this is where we're at. The city's super aggressive. The city's riled up. The papers are sensationalizing
They're
everything.
going to go after anybody, so the weakest link is going to be the one.
Exactly.
Okay, I see. Not the weakest link, you know.
I
know
understand,
what I mean.
the punching down.
Yes.
So that brings us to Memorial Day weekend, 1921. Black 19-year-old Dick Rowland was arrested for the assault of white 21-year-old Sarah Page. Page was an elevator operator, and Rowland was on the way to the segregated bathroom. He had to take the elevator, and while walking in, he tripped and grabbed Page's arm. Page shouted, startled, and Rowland left both embarrassed and well aware of what could happen if a black man was accused of any kind of unpleasantness towards a white woman. A white store clerk who worked on the first floor of the building saw nothing, but heard the yelp and saw Rowland leaving quickly. This man chose to call the police and report an attempted assault, never even speaking with Page. The Tulsa police arrested Rowland the very next day, even though both the police and the prosecutors didn't think Rowland was guilty, and had already decided they weren't going to press charges against him. They're just holding him for a little bit to look like they were doing something. And they admitted that afterwards. The Tulsa Tribune, once again rearing their racist, fear-mongering head, published a ghastly article titled "Nab Negro for Attacking Girl in an Elevator." I'm going to read the article now. A Negro delivery boy, who gave his name to the police as Diamond Dick, but who had been identified as Dick Rowland, was arrested on South Greenwood Avenue this morning by officers Carmichael and Peck, charged with attempting to assault the 17-year-old white elevator girl in the Drexel building early yesterday. He will be tried in municipal court this afternoon on a state charge. The girl said she noticed the Negro a few minutes before the attempted assault looking up and down the hallway on the third floor of the Drexel building, as if to see if there was anyone in sight, but thought nothing of it at the time. A few minutes later, he entered the elevator, she claimed, and attacked her, scratching her hands and face and tearing her clothes.
What?
Her screams brought a clerk from Renberg's store to her assistance, and the Negro fled. He was captured and identified this morning both by the girl and the clerk, police say. Rowland denied that he tried to harm the girl, but admitted he put his hand on her arm in the elevator when she was alone. Tenants of the Drexel building said the girl is an orphan who works as an elevator operator to pay her way through business college. That sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, very different.
It's because there's several lies in that article. Most of it's just not true. Sarah Page was 21, not 17, as the Tribune claimed. There were no cuts or scratches or torn clothes. Not only did Page never say any of that about Rowland looking around, but when police spoke with her, she told them nothing happened and she would not be pressing any kind of charges.
Or like him fleeing from the scene because somebody came to...
Yeah.
No.
The cashier came to her help. No, they never spoke to her. Literally nothing happened, and she said nothing happened.
Okay.
So they arrested Rowland, and papers like the Tulsa Tribune published racist lies. This particular article was published in the afternoon edition, which was released to the people by 3 p.m. By 4 p.m., authorities had been alerted about white community members wanting to lynch Rowland. Much different than the situation with Belton, the newly elected Willard M. McCullough took the threats much more seriously, and he did not want another Belton situation. By sunset at 7:30 p.m., several hundred white residents had assembled outside the courthouse, and the deputies took a defensive formation around Rowland, and 6 men with shotguns and rifles were sent up to the roof. McCullough then shut off the elevators and put several of his men at the top of the stairs, ordering them to shoot intruders on sight. The sheriff then tried to talk the crowd down, but he was being shouted over and ignored. At 8:20 p.m., 3 men entered the building and demanded Rowland, and as he should, the sheriff refused to hand the teen over. So again, this is a 19-year-old.
Well, yeah. The hell?
It's a kid. Like, that's literally so sad. Several blocks away, on Greenwood Avenue, several members of the black community had gathered at Gurley's Hotel. While they all did agree on their main objective, protect Rowland from the mob, the generations didn't quite agree on how. Young men who were fresh from war were gathering weapons and ammo, preparing to defend their own. The older citizens were more hesitant, fearful, having seen how these situations had played out before, knowing that the damage was always largely done to the black side of these race-fueled massacres. They were sending small patrols of black men past the courthouse every so often, a car filled with 4 or 5 armed individuals passing slowly by the mob, both gathering information and as a reminder to the mob that the Greenwood community was ready if they needed to be. To the crowd of white men, this began whispers of a Negro uprising.
What?
Yeah. Just the fear being built upon built.
Yeah,
Rumors
they're
and
just like
whispers.
riling up themselves over nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna compare it to. Like how people can just accuse somebody of something and they're gonna be killed by the people.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. And the fact that the Salem witch trials was literally a bunch of kids. I mean, don't even fucking get me started.
You know, nobody ever got like burnt on the.
Yeah, they're all hung.
Yeah.
Or drowned. I think one was stoned.
Yes.
There is some mystery to the next part. Witnesses, black and white alike, recall Sheriff Mikula requesting the Greenwood community for backup. The sheriff and all other members of the police department, however, claim otherwise, that never happened. Either way, a group of 75 armed black men made their way to the courthouse to meet the mob of several hundred white men demanding Roland be surrendered to them. When this happened, any members of the white people are demanding Roland be surrendered.
Yeah.
When this happened, any members of the white mob who were unarmed ran home to retrieve their own weapons and rushed back. Some of them literally didn't even go home. They just broke into stores and looted them.
Holy shit. This is not turning out to be.
It just keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
Worse. Or like a compact cooker, like an Instant Pot, and
it's
the
about to
pressure's
explode?
just building. Yeah.
Or like a domino effect.
Horrible. So yeah, the domino effect is actually perfect. That's why I needed all the backstory so you can see how tensions were like not good.
Yeah.
Because if you just go straight to everyone's at the courthouse and ready to fucking die, like it's like, whoa, how did we get here?
Oh, what's that theory of like if the flap of a butterfly,
The butterfly
wings?
effect.
Yes, the butterfly. Right? Yeah, it's a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
If the flap of the wings of a butterfly can cause like a typhoon in the other part of the world or something.
Yeah. I do think this is a better example of domino. Because yeah, the butterfly effect is like really far off things.
Oh,
like
I see.
how
something super little turns into something super big.
9/11 created Twilight.
Oh.
No, 9/11 created 50 Shades of Grey. Because
Yeah, that is pretty far off.
Gerard Way, I can't fucking remember, was that Chemical Romance?
I have no fucking idea, dude.
Take away my emo card, that's fine. But the band that Gerard Way is in, like he was inspired by 9/11.
Yeah, Cody's gonna
Not
be pissed
in the way.
because you don't know that.
Oh, bitch! I listened to that music more than he did.
Oh.
He's a metalhead. He's also an emo kid. We both emo.
Oh, okay.
Don't fucking emo.
We both emo.
Don't take my emo card. They can take my emo card. You can't take my emo card.
Yes, I fucking can. No, I'm just
Anyways, he was inspired by 9/11, and the person that wrote Twilight was inspired by him, and then 50 Shades of Grey was Twilight fanfiction.
kidding.
So that's
That
kind of
is
the butterfly
crazy.
effect.
Yeah, definitely. But this is a domino.
Yeah, they're going to get their weapons so they can fight this Negro uprising that they claim was happening. Somehow, all was still calm at this point, well, as calm as it could be. The sheriff spoke with the Greenwood men and came to an understanding that the sheriff had it under control and no one was going to be handing Roland over. That he wasn't a coward like Sheriff Woolley, who had handed Belton right over to be lynched. The group of Greenwood men were turning to leave when an older white man began to accost one of the black men, demanding that the man give him the pistol the man was carrying. The black man obviously refused, and the white man attacked him, attempting to disarm him. A gunshot went off in the scuffle, and all hell broke loose. This first battle only lasted seconds, but it had several losses of life. 10 white men and 2 black men were killed in the front of the courthouse. The white mob began to pursue the black men back towards Greenwood and began to break in and loot stores, stealing any ammo and weapons they could get their hands on. A movie let out while this was happening, and the attendees walked right into the rolling gunfight. Could you imagine just walking out of a movie theater being like, that was so good, or that was the most biggest pile of shit I've ever seen, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a fucking race war?
Yeah, it would depend on what I watch. Because usually I like adopt the personality of the stuff I watch.
So like if you had watched Rambo, you came out fucking ready.
Hell yeah. If I was seeing like Infinity War or something like that.
But these at this point they were being called the talkies or moving pictures.
Okay, yeah.
So like
I'm just kidding though. I would definitely wouldn't.
Oh well, yeah, obviously you're kidding.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like what you're seeing is like
Way different. Yeah, this is like
it doesn't even have sound yet, I don't think.
and it's like the subtitles pop up afterwards because there's no sound.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
No color, no sound.
So
Charlie
you're not
Chaplin.
ready to take up a fight. Yeah, literally.
Okay.
So the attendees walked right into the gunfight. They panicked and attempted to flee, while the white crowd attempted to shoot at any black movie attendees.
Oh wow.
Since several of the people who died are unknown on like the black side of everything, which I'll explain later, there may have been more people killed at this point, but the one that was recorded for sure at this point was the death of a white man who was just trying to go home from a movie and got caught in the crossfire.
Oh. Just like bystanders don't have nothing to do with it.
At this point, the mob was ravenous and had all but declared war on Greenwood. Members of the mob were even deputized by police officers, and one officer was quoted telling men to, quote, get a gun and get an N-word hard R. So get a gun and get a... A lot was happening in Tulsa at once. The American Legion, a veterans organization, was sent to the white neighborhoods bordering Greenwood, not to keep more mobs from forming like when we talked about Omaha earlier, but to protect the white neighborhoods. The National Guard was called in, and the small amount of troops able to get to Tulsa quickly began to round up any black people they could find and took them to detention centers throughout the city. Around midnight, a small crowd of white men gathered outside the courthouse, once again demanding that Roland be handed over and lynched. However, they were ignored and they did not storm the building. So we're now in the very, very early morning hours, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Okay. And it's June 1st. Small groups of white and black men were squared off in gunfights, and there's practically a line between the white side and the black side, corresponding perfectly with the lines between Greenwood and the white neighborhood surrounding it. More rumors circled, and there was talk of more black people coming in via train from Muskogee, about how this really was a hostile takeover, and that the black communities had been planning this so they could take over Tulsa. This resulted in a train coming in as normal, and the passengers inside, almost all, if not all of them, completely unaware of the horrors that had been happening in Tulsa that night, and were happening at that very moment. And they were shot at, having to duck and hide until the train continued to the next city. Small groups of whites would branch off, sneaking past the black men at the borders of Greenwood, shooting into businesses and homes, and throwing Molotov cocktails into the buildings.
What the fuck is going on?
Literally war. Many of the middle-class white families in the neighborhood surrounding Greenwood had live-in black employees. This was way more common at the time. And those families began to be attacked as well, demanding that they hand over those black employees. Most did, and some didn't. Those that didn't were subject to vandalism at best, violent attacks at worst. In these white neighborhoods, families were either boarding themselves in or out fighting, part of the mob. In Greenwood, if you weren't out defending the neighborhood, you were running. Those who stayed were either in their homes when they were being shot and lit aflame, or far enough into Greenwood that they hadn't had to flee quite yet.
Damn.
The Tulsa Fire Department was blocked by the mob from doing their job, and the neighborhood was burning. Scott Ellsworth, one of the lead firemen, was quoted, "It would mean a fireman's life to turn a stream of water on one of those Negro buildings. There isn't a chance in the world to get through that mob into the Negro District."
Damn.
I don't know. I don't feel like they didn't try that hard.
Mm-hmm.
By 4 a.m., over 24 black-owned businesses were fully ablaze. Around 5 a.m., as the sun was rising, there was a loud noise echoing throughout the area. Some witnesses described it as a train whistle, others as a siren. Either way, the white side of the massacre took this as a sign to storm Greenwood together.
Yeah.
Hundreds of white men poured into the neighborhood. Greenwood had been defending itself all night, but this was overwhelming. 5 white men in a car led the charge, but they didn't even make it a whole block before they were all dead. However, there were so many more behind them that those defending Greenwood had to flee and were losing a lot of territory.
This is like a full-on war for sure. Like it's like the trenches are moving. What's going on?
It's literally a war. If one more thing happens that makes it like, okay, so this is literally a war.
What, they're gonna pull out a cannon or something?
The mob was shooting indiscriminately into businesses and homes. Many small groups broke off, looting those businesses and homes, and when they found black families inside, if they didn't fight, they were taken to the local detention centers, and if they did fight, they were killed.
What the fuck?
Those homes were then lit on fire, and they moved to the next house. Then it got unimaginably worse.
What?
White men flew in personal planes from a nearby airway, dropping literal firebombs that survivors called burning turpentine balls on both buildings and fleeing families. Witnesses recall somewhere around a dozen planes, possibly a few more. It's hard to tell in all the chaos exactly how many planes were flying overhead.
What the fuck?
So yeah, literally warfare.
Where's the government? Where's the police? Where's
Well, okay, like I said, there's so much here. I'm so sorry this is taking so long. There's so much here. So I didn't have time to go into everything. The National Guard at this point, a few of them came in, and then all the rest of them got there around this point, 5 a.m. They're there, but the guy was like, I need to talk to the right people. So everyone ate breakfast and everyone got ready, and then he found the right people.
Don't piss me off.
And it was like noon when they finally were like, okay, let's get in action.
Wow.
But yeah, so these planes were not only dropping these bombs, but had passengers armed with rifles shooting down at the citizens. Several of those with the rifles were members of Tulsa's law enforcement. In their defense, they claimed they were trying to prevent a Negro uprising.
Okay.
Martial law was finally fully declared at 11:49 a.m. That's when they finally got their shit together. Many more members of the National Guard had been brought in at this point, though members of both sides were shooting at them. Which, like, fair enough, you're taking the black people to detention centers. I wouldn't want you grabbing me either. Mm-hmm. Buildings on fire filled, and mind you, they were just telling the white people to go home unless they tried to kill them, and then they got arrested.
Okay.
So the buildings on fire filled with stockpiled ammo began to explode, which was killing even more people. White men were sent home and black families were sent to detention centers. Ultimately, out of 10,000 black citizens of Greenwood, 4,000 were rounded up in detention centers, and the remaining 6,000 were returned from fleeing were held at 3 different internment facilities. So the reports of death afterwards were all over the place.
I can imagine.
The Tulsa Tribune reported 9 white people and 68 black people dead, which is 77 dead total, on June 1st, while also saying 176 dead total in the same article, which is almost 100 more than they said in that same article. The next day, they began reporting 9 white people and 21 black people dead, 30 humans total. The LA Express reported 175 people killed, many wounded, and the New York Times reported 77 dead total, 68 black and 9 white, then later reported 33 dead total.
What?
These
So
numbers
they
are all
don't
over the
know.
place. They didn't know then. We have a much better idea now.
Okay.
But we still don't know exactly how many.
Okay.
So while we aren't completely sure about the death count, here is what we do know.
Mm.
The only hospital that would treat black people in Tulsa was in Greenwood, and it was burnt down.
Okay.
This meant that they had to wait for the Red Cross to get any true medical assistance past first aid, and what they did receive was out of white hospitals' basements from Red Cross employees and volunteers, and in just random parking lots around. They reported helping at least 800 severely injured black citizens. The commercial district of Greenwood was completely gone. 191 black-owned businesses, a junior high school, several churches, and their only hospital burnt to the ground.
Oh.
1,256 of their homes were looted and burned,
Oh my god.
and a further 215 more were looted but still standing.
Okay. This is horrible, Ramsey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like the night's over.
Yeah.
The Greenwood community was, of course, villainized in the papers, and the white neighbors of Tulsa were the victims of the national narrative.
Obviously.
Homegrown, innocent white families who saved Oklahoma from an uprising. I reminded
would
someone
work.
of their grandma right there.
Oh,
If enough
yeah.
people listen to this.
That would work on them.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's what all the papers were reporting. It's not like you could go on TikTok and be like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is not what it's supposed to be.
On June 6th, a Citizens Public Safety Committee had been established, and 250 white men vowed to, quote, protect the city from any further disturbances. When taken to trial, an all-white jury found the majority of the fault to be on the, quote, black mobs, with a small mention at law enforcement for not having prevented the entire thing. Not a single individual was ever charged for an actual crime related to anything that happened that night, and the vast majority of the black community in Tulsa had to spend the 1921 winter in tents. City planners were openly excited at the destruction. They needed somewhere not outside of the city for some industrial buildings and for what became the Union Depot, and an influx of white developers lobbied the city's politicians to pass a fire ordinance specifically targeted to make it near impossible for Greenwood to rebuild. They wanted to build white businesses and white homes and to push any black neighborhoods back out to the skirts of Tulsa instead of the center hub of industry Greenwood had become.
So it just ended how they wanted it to.
Kick them all down. Oh, it just keeps, like, you keep thinking, like, oh, okay, and then it was over, and then it just keeps not being over. So John A. Gustafson was chief of police at the time, and he was prosecuted on 7 grounds on June 6th.
Mm-hmm.
First one was refusing to enforce prohibition. The second one, refusing to enforce anti-prostitution laws. Number 3, operating a stolen vehicle ring, allowing the automobile thieves to escape justice, and extorting the citizens of Tulsa for rewards for their car being returned. This is the sheriff that was just doing that. Number 4, operating a fake detective agency so he could bill Tulsa for stuff he was already being paid to do by the police. So if they're like, solve this crime, he said, okay, I'm going to hire this guy to do it. And the guy was him. I'm going to hire me to do what you're already paying me to do. That's kind of funny if he wasn't such a horrible person.
Dude.
He failed to enforce gun laws, and he failed to take action during riots, referring to the Tulsa Massacre. I think I wrote 7 grounds. It was 6. During this trial, the Attorney General received several letters claiming that the police were threatening witnesses subpoenaed to testify against Gustafson. Nothing was done about that. They were just like, okay, cool. Gustafson ended up being found guilty of 2 charges. Negligence to stop the riot, which he was dismissed from the police force for, and the car theft ring, which he served jail time for. I'm not sure why he wasn't found guilty about the other things, because he clearly was.
Mm-hmm.
So after this, the event was largely forgotten. It was not taught in schools. The community had been built over. When newspapers like the Tulsa Tribune did its On This Day 20 years ago segment, or like On This Day 15 years ago, or like famous Tulsa things, like it just was never mentioned.
Oh.
It was erased. It was ignored. A black-owned newspaper did a story on it in the 90s, and black residents would share the stories of their descendants. But even then, most black citizens didn't know, and the majority of white citizens had never even heard of it. Never even heard whisperings. In 2001, again, this happened in 1921.
Damn.
In 2001, the Tulsa Reparations Coalition was made specifically to investigate this incident and to give recommendations on what reparations the city needs to make going forward.
What day in 2001?
I don't know.
Oh.
Why? Because you were born?
Yeah.
I think it was early 2001.
Oh, okay.
In this investigation, one of their main concerns was that was the actual death count. They investigated multiple sites for possible mass graves. Most places, they found nothing. One unmarked mass grave was found October 2020. 18 bodies were found there.
Wow.
Another mass grave in 2021 found 19 victims of the massacre.
2021? Like 100 years later?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's other places that they want to check, and there's some places they've checked and there's been nothing, and there's some places they've checked and it's tested positive, but they can't actually afford to dig in there.
So this thing is still going?
Very much. Oh, you don't even know! Sorry. It literally stuff happened last month.
Shit, okay.
This coalition estimated that between 150 to 300 black citizens were killed in the Tulsa Massacre.
Wow.
And that's not including the 800 injured. The number most likely being somewhere around 200. The reparations recommended by this coalition were as follows. Direct payment of reparations to survivors. Direct payment of reparations to descendants of the survivors. A scholarship fund to all students affected by the massacre. The establishment of an economic development enterprise zone in the Greenwood District. And a memorial and the burial for all remains of the victims. Again, these recommendations were given in the early 2000s by a committee put together by the Tulsa city government.
Oh.
Tulsa took these recommendations and did not do a damn thing.
Wow.
Not only did they not do a damn thing, but the multiple attempts at suing for damages were denied. These cases needed the city's committee's information in order to file these claims, as originally in the aftermath, the black citizens were blamed for not knowing their place, and the white citizens were given the hero treatment and were legally considered not responsible by an all-white jury.
Yeah, when you said they were getting like all that, I was like, wow, that's surprising that they're doing that.
That's what was recommended.
Yeah.
By the committee that they asked to recommend things.
Okay.
So they needed the committee's ruling at the very least to even be able to sue.
Okay.
Again, this was formed in 2001. However, when they tried to sue, even though there is a legal precedent set for these situations where to extend the usual 2 hours because of the specifics around this event, or 2 hours, 2 years you usually have to sue. They were given, usually there's like a precedent in these types of situations where you extend that time period because like they couldn't because of systematic racism. And they were like, even though that precedent exists, we're not going to do it.
Okay.
The Tulsa courts repeatedly chose to deny the claims. However, there is some hope to be had. In 2021, several librarians worked to get the Library of Congress to change the official subject heading from riot to massacre when discussing the attack, as it used to be known as the Tulsa riots.
Mm-hmm.
However, in the same year, the at the time Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signed House Bill 1775 into law, also referred to as the ban on critical race theory. For those who may not know, critical race theory is a college class about how racism comes from systemic issues and is not due to any one individual. Republicans claim that critical race theory is taught to elementary schoolers, and that's an entire lesson plan of how white people are inherently evil. Republicans also have a tendency to claim that literally anything being taught about black history is critical race theory. So when asked if this ban meant that the Tulsa Massacre couldn't be taught in public schools, Stitt replied that if teachers chose to teach that part of history to, and I quote, not tie it to skin color. More recently, when our Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, was asked... sorry, I can't even say her name without laughing.
Oh my gosh, that fucking bitch, dude. You know what I saw recently about that?
What?
She was doing like a talk in front of like the judge or something, and she had her like huge fucking engagement ring on. It was so stupid. Like the head of the education department, like
could
her
literally
ring
fund a whole public school.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Her ring could fund the public schools for like a year.
Okay. Yeah, I can't even say her name without laughing because, like, what fucking timeline do we live in? She was asked if the Tulsa Race Massacre is considered illegal DEI, which is like a hiring practice. I don't understand how it's relevant to teach. And she replied, I'd have to get back to you on that. When asked if she knew what it even was, she again said, "I have to get back to you on that." In the same questioning, she hadn't have any idea who Ruby Bridges was, the Secretary of Education.
I know there's a lot of things she does not know.
Most things, I would argue. However, there is some good. Tulsa did elect their first black mayor, Monroe Nichols, in November 2024, and he was sworn in December. By June 22nd, 2025, like a month ago, a little over a month before this recording, he announced a $105 million private trust for descendants of the Tulsa Massacre.
Oh, thank God.
In between doing the research for this and writing the script, I actually had a TikTok come on my For You page about this. It was a small Oklahoma news channel's account sharing the blurb about the trust for the descendants, just like a little news thing.
Yeah.
There were only about 10 or so comments, and every single one was disgusting and racist.
Oh.
I was so mad. I replied to each one of them being like, "You
Was it
are
on
the
Facebook?
uneducated fuck." That was on TikTok.
Oh.
Because of this, I would like to finish this off by talking about Viola Fletcher. Don't worry, we're almost done. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Viola Fletcher is among us and fighting today at 111 years old.
Oh my God.
She was born May 10th, 1914, and was 7 years old when the Tulsa Massacre occurred. She testified in front of Congress in 2021 at 107 years old.
Damn.
She has never stopped fighting for justice and for victims of the massacre, and also in 2021 was crowned as a queen mother in Ghana to honor her for her work.
Big Sister General?
Big Sister General! Oh my God, don't even make me fucking... This remarkable woman was asleep in her bed, again, at 7 years old, when her mom woke her and her 4 siblings in a panic, and they fled Tulsa, surrounded by their burning community, dodging bullets and avoiding dead bodies in the streets, and don't forget the literal bombs. They lost everything except for the literal clothes on their backs. Even now, over 100 years later, Viola Fletcher still sleeps with the lights on, sitting up on her couch, just in case.
Are you serious? That's so traumatic.
So even now, even today, 2025, there are people being racist about the money being given to the descendants, and there's a woman alive still fighting for help for her and the other people that went through it that's still being affected.
Yeah.
She's 111 now. It's been over 100 years since it happened, and she's still affected and traumatized and has PTSD from the event. There is an unbelievable amount to cover with this that I had to cut many things that I think are both interesting and important. If you have any further interest learning about this period in history and the how and the why, you can look into W. Tate Brady and the Tulsa Outrage, Olivia Hooker, Buck Colbert Franklin's 10-page account, The Union Depot, and Professor J.W. Hughes are the book Events of the Tulsa Disaster by Mary Elizabeth Jones Parrish, and of course Viola Fletcher's book, Don't Let Them Bury My Story. And that's pretty much everything for Tulsa. Just know also, like, when you're looking at these things, pictures are not, there's not warnings, but there's pictures of very graphic things.
Wow.
11/11 Make-A-Wish.
I don't do that shit no more. I don't do the 11/11 anymore because it never comes true.
It's come true for me before.
It has?
Yeah. I make realistic wishes, though.
I ask for godly powers.
Oh God. Okay, so that's probably why they're not coming true. I say things like, I hope. Like, let's say, like, I talked to my dad earlier that day, and, or like, for example, after my sister's dog died, I would wish, like, I hope Taylor has a really good day tomorrow.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're more sympathetic.
Just like
I'm more egocentric.
Or even something like, I hope those shoes go on sale. Okay. Not, I hope I can see through walls. That would be awesome, though.
Anyways,
so yeah, that's my first one, and it was long, and
tragic, horrible. Hope you guys learned something from that.
Important history. Remember it moving forward in recent times.
All right, so moving on, we're going to be talking about the Vietnam War in mind.
Taking it out of the United States. Good. We need to get far away from here.
Exactly. Well, it still involves the United States because they were part of it, obviously. I'm going to be talking about the Vietnam War, but specifically I'm going to be talking about the psychological warfare that happened commonly during the Vietnam War. There's 2 primary examples I'm going to be talking about, which one is the Operation Wandering Soul, which was conducted by the United States Army. And then I'm going to be talking about the broadcast of Hanoi Hana, which is a propaganda voice of North Vietnam. Like a lady that talked in the radios. Anyways.
I love that. I feel like most people, when they talk about Vietnam, like, I know a lot about, like, the traps and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
They don't really talk about the psychological warfare.
No, there was so much going on in that war. They both aimed for after the moral and mental state of enemy troops in very different ways.
Okay.
So first, we're going to be talking about the Operation Wandering Soul. So the Operation Wandering Soul was based on cultural beliefs held by many Vietnamese, particularly those rooted in Buddhist and traditional spiritual views. According to these beliefs, if a person dies violently or far from home and is not given a proper burial, their souls may become restless, condemned to wander the earth in suffering.
Okay.
The U.S. military sought to exploit this belief through psychological operation
Oh my god.
involving audio propaganda. Sound engineers created a series of recordings designed to mimic the voices of deceased Viet Cong soldiers. These tapes, often referred to as Ghost Tape Number 10, included funeral music, sorrowing messages, and eerie vocal effects. Some recordings also feature fabricated voices of children calling for their lost parents. So, in the middle of the Vietnam jungle or something like that, they would play they would have speakers, super loud speakers in the jungle, would play eerie music and ghost music to scare.
That would scare me.
Yeah, no, that would scare me too. Imagine that. That's horrible. And since they are known to believe these things, obviously they probably would fall for these things too.
Yeah, they're not them being culturally aware for warfare.
No, that's
the one time they're like, you know what? Actually, let's learn.
Yeah. So some of the things that these recordings would say would word for word in Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
What's the language? Vietnamese. They would be like, "My friend, I came back to let you know I am dead. I'm in hell. I am dead. Go home while you can. And daddy, please help me."
Could you imagine hearing a recording of me in your hallway after I died?
Yeah.
Being like, I'm here to let you know.
Not even imagine in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, and you're at war.
Yeah.
So it's even worse. That's really bad.
Yeah, that would fuck me up in the mind.
That's definitely warfare. That's like a Black Mirror episode.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. These sounds were broadcasted at night using hidden loudspeakers on the ground or from helicopters flying near enemy areas.
That's smart. Less likely to find the source when it's at night.
Exactly. The intentions was to frighten Viet Cong soldiers and encourage desertion or surrender. In some cases, the broadcast reportedly caused confusion or distress. There are also accounts that the tapes provoked enemy fighters to fire in reaction, revealing their positions to U.S. forces.
Wow.
So overall, I mean...
successful.
Yeah, pretty good tactic, I guess. However, the overall effectiveness of the Operation Wandering Soul remains unclear. While some units reported short-term success, many Viet Cong eventually recognized the tactics as psychological ruse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the U.S. military later acknowledged that its impact was likely limited and situational.
So while that's true, I also think even just hearing that, even knowing it's not real, it still feels real.
Exactly. No, if you listen to on TikTok or something, a video of whatever, you're still gonna get scared, even though it's a video on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it feels
and this is
real.
even worse.
And you're already in the jungle at war, so
Mm-hmm.
having that added to it, it's still psychological warfare. That's crazy.
Do you think you can? How many people do you think died during the Vietnam War?
Oh God, I don't know.
Maybe
total, both including both sides.
Yes.
1 million.
So, it was a little bit. It was more than that. It was 3,250,000,
Damn.
and most of those were Vietnamese citizens.
Yeah,
So not even soldiers or nothing.
that's horrific. That's
I know.
so many people.
It is.
How
And
many people live in Omaha? You can keep talking.
and I think the death toll on World War II is incredibly large. It's
Oh, yeah.
80 million.
I mean, big enough that we had to you have to find it reasonable to bomb Hiroshima.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? Omaha only has 483,000
Half
people.
a million.
Two of Omaha's plus some.
It's 1, 2, 3. It's 6 of Omaha's.
Oh yeah, that's a million is what I was saying. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Fuck me, dude. War is horrible, and it can really cause some... I don't even know how you go back to normal life after that.
World War II is the deadliest conflict in human history. Between 70 and 85 million people died.
Damn.
And I will be touching on that in one of my topics. So.
That's horrible.
We'll come back to that fun topic.
Well,
The worst thing in human history.
World War II. So that was the U.S. side of the psychological warfare. Now we're going into the Vietnamese. On the opposing side, known by American troops as Hanoi Hana, she had her actual name, but I can't pronounce it because it's Vietnamese, so I don't want to butcher nothing.
It.
Yeah, exactly.
Jinx.
As the English-speaking voice of North Vietnamese radio broadcast from a studio in Hanoi, she delivered propaganda aimed at American servicemen multiple times a day. Her broadcasting typically included casualty reports, war updates, and anti-war commentary. She often read the names of U.S. soldiers who had recently died or been captured and being tortured by the Vietnamese army, which she sourced from public military newspapers like Stars and Stripes. This tactic led to many U.S. troops to believe she had access to clarified information. So this was just a lady that was on radio stations and would talk to the people opposing U.S. soldiers and just tell them about information that she shouldn't be able to know, scaring them in that way. And also the way that she talks, the way that she's so like aiming towards them and talking, like one of the quotes that she would say was like, "They will give you a medal, but only after you're dead," and stuff like that.
I think I've seen one of them.
Yes, and TikTok is like it's a common thing right now.
I think I did see one TikTok about it, and it was about black soldiers. Like, you don't even have rights at home, and they're sending you here to die for it.
She might. That sounds something like she would say.
Yeah,
it's really.
But they also other Vietnamese soldiers would like spray paint things around the woods and on buildings and stuff. Like the same idea. So they were really going in with that.
No, yeah, like desertion is what they were looking for, and making them not trust their own government and people, which they shouldn't, honestly, but
they made some points. And that's the problem.
Yeah, they sure did. Have you seen the recordings? Do you need me to show you?
I don't think I've heard the recording.
And this is Hanoi Hana.
Your government has abandoned you.
She would talk on like a radio stations like 3 times a day.
Do not trust them.
And yeah, she would just get into people's minds.
Is that her?
Yeah, that's her.
She's pretty.
Yeah, she is, for real.
They lie to you, GI. You know you cannot win this war.
She would say GI, like for G.I. Joe, kind of like soldiers.
Yeah.
You died in the swamp, GI.
So do we know if the army put her up to it, or she just like decided to do this?
I don't know. But it sounds like she had a mission herself, but it seems like she's seeking to help them. So
just a citizen looking to help.
Yeah, exactly. So Hanoi Hana also played American music, particularly anti-war songs, and commented on social and political unrest in the U.S., seeking to foster doubt, homesickness, and dissatisfaction among soldiers. Despite this, her broadcasts were rarely taken seriously by most troops. Many mocked her messages, though some acknowledged being unsettling by her knowledge of specific military units and ship movements. So, unlike Operating Wandering Soul, which attempted to instill fear through spiritual manipulations, Hanoi Hana's strategy focused on information and emotional influence. So her broadcasts were well-researched, calmly delivered, and consistent throughout the war. She maintained that she believed in her message and saw herself as defending her country against foreign occupation. So it kind of feels like it was something that she was doing on her own, and that what she was trying to do just to instill fear in the opposing party.
Yeah.
And she was really consistent with it. Like, she would do it all the time, 3 times a day for probably like almost the whole entire war.
That's a full-time job.
Exactly, yeah. She was a radio station host too, so I think.
So she's already at work, might as well help your country.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so we've been at this for a while. This is now going to be a 2-part episode, so this was part 1 of Dark Histories.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I mean, I'm excited to see what else you do, because I thought that Vietnam was really interesting.
No, yeah, me too. Dark history is so broad.
There's a lot you can do with it, and I think, again, Adrian went way more fun. Well, not fun, but more interesting, where I was like, this horrible thing happened.
Everything is interesting, but there's degrees to things.
It's true.
Which we're going really far into in Ramsey's aspect of it.
The next one will end with the Holocaust. So, emotionally prepare for that.
We'll see.
Not the whole Holocaust. Just
be
like
there.
Be there or be square. Or be queer. Did you know in the Holocaust, I know you know because I've told you this, everyone was let go except for the gay people who were sent to different concentration camps?
All right, with that note, you have a great night or day. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye!
Bye.